I came into drag kind of sideways. I started working with Ab's Heart, sort of doing all his costuming and makeup and stuff as he was sort of getting on his feet here in Arkansas. And I'd also been performing for most of my life. I did theater all through school, junior high, high school, college, all of that. So I was kind of looking for a creative outlet for myself and had sort of a toe in the drag king community. And then through that, I decided that I wanted to start performing for myself as my own character as a drag queen.
I think drag definitely helped me accept myself a lot more. I know that for me and for a lot of people, it is sort of one of those things where you can easily play with gender and not feel uncomfortable about it because that's what you're supposed to do with drag.
Drag in itself, it originated in the Elizabethan times whenever women weren't allowed to be on the stage. And the acronym was dress resembling a girl. These were men who played these parts, and then drag stayed with us from the Elizabethan times, even when women could still be on the stage. Kind of evolved into what we see now, which is more nightclub performances. But it's definitely an art form. There's definitely a craft and technique behind it.
Drag is more than just the performance aspect. It's a lot of the preparation, and it's a lot of the figuring out how can I push my own boundaries. A lot of folks in drag are also going to be making costumes or styling hair. All these skills that we don't necessarily have, but we know that we want to do.
Abs is a lot of things that, at least previously in my life, that I think that I wanted to be but couldn't figure out how to be. For example, Abs is very outgoing and very flirty and very high energy, and I personally, in my personal life, am pretty quiet. I am not an outgoing person. I'm very much an introvert. It's weird that I can't just sort of insert it into my normal life, but I guess it is very different when you are playing a character just as if you're acting in a play.
A little intimidating because people have already discovered what I am now discovering about my drag. And I feel like I'm behind, but in the grand scheme of things, I should be behind because I've been doing it for 3 and some of them have been doing it for 15, 20. And everyone that I work at Trinity and Discovery, we're all kind of like a huge family there. We've hung out together, we dance in each other's talents for various pageants because we're all addicted to competition. I personally enjoy having a family because it allows me to always have someone there to reach out and talk to if something's going wrong, or what color should this stone be, or, or what color should this costume be.
One of my pageant brothers said, "You have no reason not to do this." I had come in second place the year before, and he said, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. I don't know why you wouldn't go back and do this. You're stupid if you don't do it. And I got over myself and got things together and did it. And I still almost cry when I think about that moment because it was just everything that I've been working for 5 years and put so much time and effort into, and then to finally have that moment was unbelievable.
There's a very different thought process behind queens and kings. Queens are generally dudes who are dressing up as women, so they are in some ways sort of giving up that privilege or that place in society of being a man. And usually that's comedic. Usually that's something that people can look at and go, well, that's funny, or that's cute that he would do that, you know. On the opposite end of that, that's disgusting, why would he want to be a woman, patriarchy, whatever. Kings are not generally very funny, like that. It tends to be less comedy in the king realm, but I think that that's probably, at least partly because it's much more socially upsetting to see someone who was a woman become a man in this place of privilege. Like, that's upsetting in a way that you can take off your crown. You can't just pick that crown up and put it on. And so kings are unnerving to people in a lot of ways. And I find that kind of delicious. I think, like, you know, if we're going to dismantle the patriarchy, let's do it. But it's interesting to see how that affects what kind of performances you get out of different types of entertainers.
And what's getting rid of that stigma about drag queens is RuPaul's Drag Race. Because of their workroom scenes, we're actually meeting the men behind the makeup before we get to see who the queens are nowadays. And that is kind of erasing that wall that seems to be up between the outside public and drag queens.